unbeaten against number 24 Memphis, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app.
The 8th-ranked, once beaten Irish of Notre Dame and the Wolverines of Michigan. Charbonnet cuts back and scores! Michigan stretches the lead. Haskins has been the weapon, and he's in the secondary, hurling tacklers and knocked down, and hit as he throws for the end zone. Sliding catch, it's Peoples-Jones. Touchdown, Michigan. Wilson busts a tackle into the secondary, has some blockers, cuts it back and scores! And Michigan is mauling Notre Dame. Head scratcher for the visitors from South Bend. Dominant performance on both sides for the maize and blue.
Seems the luck of the Irish has run out in South Bend. How about Jim Harbaugh getting the big win? Paul Finebaum in the house. Good to see you as always.
Thank you.
I feel like there's a lot we need to get into today, so
is.
I'm going to move fast. Yeah.
Speak up, Paul. I mean, that's Jim Harbaugh there celebrating big victory. Speak up,
listen
Paul.
to
We
this
need to
guy.
hear from you on this one.
I'm going to be benevolent and not crack right back at you, Stephen A. But I've got some tapes here, some things you've been saying too. Listen,
yes.
I don't want to take anything away from beating Notre Dame. That's nice. But until Jim Harbaugh beats Ohio State, I'm still going to be suspicious of his talents at Michigan, and I bet you are too, Stephen A.
Paul, what about the fact that forget, like we're all saying, oh, well, the one thing you got to do is beat Ohio State. What other win does he have since coming back from the pros? Like, this is clearly his best win, right? I can't think off the top of my head of beating an undefeated team, a top-ranked team. Like, what? This
Well, no, I mean, already. I mean, let's talk about this year. He went down to Georgia and got lost by a touchdown. The last time we saw him in a significant game, he lost at Ohio State a couple of years ago, like last year, badly. I don't want to harp on Jim Harbaugh because, Michigan fans think they've just discovered a cure for polio because they beat Notre Dame. Listen, I'm happy for your Wolverines. I mean,
It was a beatdown, Paul.
You put that next to the 1.5 national championships you've won in the last 70 years.
Shade.
I mean, Alabama won a national championship last week, I think.
Pure shade. You know who's throwing shade at you? Urban Meyer's wife, Shelley. Have you seen Twitter?
I saw it.
So you came out with some fiery comments about Brian Kelly's future potentially at Notre Dame. Maybe Urban should go there. Talk to me on all this.
Yeah, I mean, all I was saying was after Saturday night, it's pretty obvious that Brian Kelly is never going to win a national championship at Notre Dame. Listen, he lost by 28 to Alabama a couple of years ago in the national championship game. He lost by 27. That's an improvement. To Clemson last year in the college football playoff. We mentioned the Georgia game. And let's be honest, he's a good coach. He was National Coach of the Year last year. But he's not Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer has won 3 national championships and threw away 2 or 3 more. All I said was, if Notre Dame was wise, they would buy Brian out. Let him go to the NFL. I'm sure he could, ruin some franchise there, and bring Urban Meyer in. I'm not crazy about Urban Meyer. I think the folks that watch this show know that. But if you want to win, and Notre Dame fans they've sold their soul before, they can sell it again and hire Urban Meyer. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh. Well, my response to that would be the questionable health. The question, Max, I'll let you go, but the questionable health of Urban Meyer. It seems like every job he's been at, but there's some health issues that prop up. He's not getting any younger, and none of us are getting any younger. That would be my lone concern. And even though I know Urban Meyer is great, he's phenomenal as a head coach, and he'll win anywhere he goes. There's a whole bunch of coaches, Paul, that are damn good coaches that just ain't gonna win a national championship. So I don't know if I'm about Brian Kelly.
But we're not talking about Michigan
but for
here,
Urban Meyer,
we're not talking about Michigan here, Stephen. We're talking about Notre Dame. There's a little bit of difference in terms of their self-worth. I mean, Michigan fans are happy with moral victories. Notre Dame fans, think Newt Rockne and Ara Parseghian are still coaching there, and they expect to play for national championships. And they may play for them, but they're not going to win them under Brian Kelly. That's my only point.
I think your point holds water, Paul, especially when you consider, like, if you look at the fortunes of Ohio State, for example, in the last couple decades, or even the last 10 years, versus Notre Dame. It's not like one's warm weather, one's cold weather. If anyone has an institutional advantage, it's Notre Dame, which has a national following still.
It's interesting. If you go back to 2005, Urban Meyer was wooed by Notre Dame. He chose Florida over Notre Dame, and there's a lot of controversy about why. Some people maintain that Florida out-recruited Notre Dame. Others will say that he really wanted the Notre Dame job. He was on the staff there. He's on record as saying it was his dream job. He had a clause in his contract he could get out to go there. But the word was that they would not budge on academic admissions. Now, I have a hard time believing in 2019, with all the things that Notre Dame has done that make you want to go ooh in the night, that they would deny a chance to get a really good coach. And by the way, he's not the only coach out there. He's the only coach out there that's available with national championship credentials.
Oklahoma, meanwhile, falls to Kansas State. What are their playoff hopes done? They're
done. There's virtually no way back. And I know the people at the stats department will come up with a small percentage. But you don't lose a game like that, and they don't have a path. Their big win is over Texas. I mean, Texas is throwing up all over the state right now, and they do play Oklahoma has Baylor coming up here in a few weeks. That would be a really good win, but it's not enough to get them in the playoff. They will not trump a one-loss Alabama LSU or even a one-loss Penn State or Ohio State.
Let's talk about LSU. I'm surprised Stephen A. hasn't brought this up yet. You know how
I was getting ready to, but go ahead.
Alabama, yeah. What do you think? Do you think there's a chance that Tua will be back? I know they both have a bye a week from Saturday. We got a lot of former LSU players running around here. It's going to be a big matchup.
I believe he will be. Nick Saban's been very upbeat in talking about his return, and I'm certainly not a soothsayer, but I bet he's going to be in the game. And it gives Alabama, obviously, a much better chance. I mean, Mac Jones looked great against Arkansas. Max Kellerman would look great against Arkansas. And I just don't trust him to beat LSU. I mean, Joe Burrow right now, Stephen A. and Max, is the best quarterback in college football. And there really isn't much debate. I mean, Tua certainly could make a claim for that. Jalen Hurts has been fantastic. Fields has been fantastic. But I was down in Baton Rouge the other day, and Joe Burrow is the real deal.
Get back to
well, he's the real deal so far. We'll see what he looks like when he goes up against the Crimson
Tide.
That's Let me say this. But I do need an explanation from you, Paul. I mean, listen, why is Roll Tide? Why are they number 2 in the nation in the AP poll? How come I saw you on TV the other day having LSU ahead of Alabama? How did this happen? I mean, I think I saw one of you guys had Alabama at number 3 behind LSU and Ohio State. How?
Stephen A. has Alabama 1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, Stephen A., unlike you, I don't have that SEC bias. So, I have Ohio State number 1.
Paul's really on fire today. I love spicy ball.
Because I think Ohio State's the most complete team in the country. I think LSU is next. And listen, I know, as everyone knows, that game will decide a lot. I think the College Football Playoff Committee, when they come out of their cave next Tuesday night, is going to have LSU number 1, and they may very well have Ohio State number 2 based on what we've seen. Alabama doesn't have a good win, Stephen A. I mean, their best win of the year is getting you as a speaker back in August.
I think they need me back. I think they might need me back, Max, for this game. I think they might need me back.
I mean, they haven't.
I think you're
I might have to show up to Tuscaloosa.
Stephen A., I think you're busy enough.
Before we get out of here, Florida upset Georgia. What's the shot?
I think the trend lines favor Georgia, and I believe Dan Mullen's been fantastic. I don't want to diss him now that I'm heading down to that game this weekend, but I am a blind believer in the faith of Kirby Smart.
Paul, I think.
Hey, Molly, are y'all ready for this?
Yeah,
Before we go, this is the one time that I would beat these dudes, anybody, on a football field. Marcus Spears and Ryan Clark on the side with LSU, and I'm standing on the sideline with Alabama. I believe that I would win that matchup on a football field. It's the only time on earth that I would beat Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears in football. Only time.
You might. I bet you those two are going to try to be at that game. That is for sure.
They ain't
going to show up. They scared.
No.
Marcus Spears and Ryan Clark is scared of what's going to happen to
Marcus
LSU.
will have to work on Saturday.
They don't appear
He'll
to
definitely
be
have to be working.
Stephen A.'s, you're going to be in a sling again, Stephen A.
Oh Oh, my goodness. Paul, you know what I think's happening? I think all this time in New York, is rubbing off on him. He's got New York roots, but he lives in the South.
It's sitting in this chair right here.
Oh, that's what it is?
I mean,
thought it said
I'm
you
in
just hanging out with a bunch of angry New Yorkers.
and
Got
something
Brooklyn
happened
in the
to me.
backdrop. I thought it was because
I'm
you're
no longer
placing your
that
birth.
meek,
Right.
introverted
No.
kid from Alabama.
No. Oh,
Hey!
my God.
Roll Tide.
My goodness. All right, Paul, appreciate you. Is
Thank you.
Anthony Davis already the best teammate LeBron has ever had? It's about to get heated at this desk. Don't go anywhere.
We live in this world where either you're a villain or you're a superhero.
You lame, can't play this game.
It's the weakest move I've ever seen by a superstar.
It's Golden State for Kevin Durant.
Durant drives and finishes. Kevin Durant from downtown.
The back-to-back NBA Finals MVP.
Kevin Durant's at that place where the all-time greats get, the crossroads of physical and mental superiority.
Durant goes down holding his leg.
He's a good teammate. He's a good person. It's not fair.
How devastating is this injury to Durant's career?
Y'all know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant.
Talk about tilting the Eastern Conference. That's a championship team right away.
Say that you a baller. You lame, can't play this game.